Hey guys, it's Sam with The Blind Life. So today I thought I would talk about my vision story. And then what that is, if you're wondering, is basically my diagnosis, what my vision impairment is, my visual acuity, where it is currently, where it's going to be in the future, all of that. Now, I've talked about it before in the past in other videos, but I thought this would be a good topic today because probably the last video that I dedicated specifically to this was one of my very first videos. I mean, it might have even been my very first video, actually, on this channel. Because of that, and because I have so many videos on here, it's insane. It boggles the mind. I'm very quickly coming up on 500 videos on my channel. It's crazy. So because of that, and also because that I still get questions about it. People still ask me about my vision impairment. I figure there's probably a lot of people watching my channel that never saw those original videos. So that's why we're going to talk about it today. Today is all about my vision story. Now, before we get started, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, IRIE. If you guys need a CCTV, digital magnifier, anything like that, check out IRIE. Of course, I will have a link in the description down below. So, big thank you to them. My vision impairment is Stargardt's disease. At least that's what we think it is. Could be, it actually might not be. We'll put a pin in that and we will come back to that later. So I was diagnosed at age 11. That's when my vision started to change. Stargardt's disease, if you're not familiar with it, it's a juvenile form of macular degeneration. And that manifests as no central vision, so really large blind spots in my central vision. I do still have my peripheral vision, which is great. I'm very thankful for that. Also, light sensitivity. You know, going outside on a bright sunny day hurts my eyes, it's uncomfortable, I need to wear sunglasses. If I'm indoors though, I like a lot of light, a lot of bright light, that helps me. I don't see as well in dark areas. And then also, my colors aren't great. Playing Uno is a nightmare. I always get my blues and greens mixed up. Now, it's a progressive disease, so it's always going to keep getting worse. I was legally blind by my early teens. My sister, it's also hereditary disease, so my sister also has it. She is a couple years older than me, so she was diagnosed earlier than I was, obviously. And so because of that, the doctors and my parents, they knew that they should probably be keeping an eye on me. It's not super common for multiple siblings to have it, or at least there's a lower chance of multiple siblings to have it. But as I always say, my sister and I, we drew the genetic short straw and we won the low vision lottery and we both got it. But I always say that I'm actually glad that we did, because it made it much easier growing up having someone else there that was going through it too. So diagnosed at age 11, I don't remember much about before that. I had 20/20 before that, and I remember just being able to see things, like riding in a car, going down the street, and I could read street signs and things like that. But that's really about it. My diagnosis, the testing, was very traumatic for me. I remember as a little kid being terrified and scared of all the tests. I was sure that my parents hated me and the doctor was trying to kill me. But, you know, looking back as an adult, I realized that they probably did everything they could to make it as easy as possible for me. But, you know, as a kid, you automatically think the worst. Growing up with vision impairment wasn't too bad for me outside of school. Outside of school, I was a normal kid, played in the neighborhood, rode my bike, rode skateboards, built clubhouses in the woods, spend the night with my buddies. We would go swimming in the neighborhood pool, just had a normal childhood. It was a lot of fun. But then when I was at school, it was a different story. At school is where the vision impairment really became much more noticeable and much harder to hide. For one thing, they always put me in the front row of the classroom, no matter what. You know, oh, Sam can't see as well, let's put him up as close as we can to the board so he can see better. Sometimes even they would push my desk up to the board. My desk was butted up against the wall that the blackboard was on. And so that was fun. Yeah, let's further segregate this kid from the rest of the group, rest of the class. Then I also had to carry around these giant, horrible, large print books. And it wasn't like a normal textbook that just had large print. These things were oversized, and one textbook had to be split up into about 4 or 5 volumes, so separate books. Then the pages actually folded out. So you would have one normal page of a textbook was on, large print was on 3 pages of this giant book. And you would hold it vertically. That's how you would read it. These things, I hated these things. Drove me crazy having to carry those things around. And then, God forbid, I got called on to read in the class because I've never been able to read as quickly as someone with perfect vision. But I got through it, you know. I've tried to keep a positive attitude about things like that. Bullying, yeah, of course, I got bullied. Fast forward into high school. The summer between my junior and senior year of high school, I got the opportunity to go to a school for the blind for a summer program. And it was fantastic. I loved it. Oh, it was great. Finally, I was around a bunch of other kids that were like me. And truly, finally, I had found my true peer group. All of a sudden, I wasn't the weird kid anymore. I was surrounded by other weird kids, and it was awesome. I loved it. Had the best time. So when I got home after that summer program, I begged my parents to let me go to that school for my senior year. And it really didn't take much begging and pleading. My parents were great. They said, yeah, absolutely, you can go there. So that's what I did. So I graduated from a school for the blind in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's called the Governor Moorhead School for the Blind. I loved it. Once again, I just had the best time. So I've always said that if you have the opportunity to either go to a school for the blind as a summer program, or to go for your regular school, or to even send your kids to a school for the blind, definitely look into it. I just had a great experience. Some people don't, of course, but I did, and so I would always recommend that. Now, I've never been able to drive, never been able to get my license. People ask me that too. I've driven many times. I used to borrow my friends' cars and stuff to run up to the store. Don't tell anybody. And in fact, when I turned 16 where I'm from in North Carolina, you didn't need a license to drive a moped. You just had to be 16. So as soon as I turned 16, I got a moped. My dad got me a moped, and it was awesome. And I was gone at that point. I was just all over the city. I would explore, just driving around all over the place. I couldn't see any of the street lights, or I couldn't see any of the street signs. And so there's little tricks and little hacks that you have to do. So maybe I'll make a video about that someday. Maybe I'll do a live stream with my buddy Charlie. He also had a scooter. Driving around mopeds and scooters is being legally blind. So maybe we'll do that. We'll talk about that sometime. That'd be a lot of fun, I think. So fast forward to current times. My visual acuity. The last time I had it checked with the very scientific test of somebody standing about 10 feet away from me holding up a sign and saying, "What do you see?" These tests drive me crazy because they're so different from one doctor's office to another. I mean, they can't be that accurate, right? Well, anyway, so my last test was 2400 in my good eye, which is my left eye, 2800 in my bad eye, my right eye. So last time I went to the doctor, he was taking a look at my eye, and he was a little confused about what he saw. Apparently my blind spots, the damaged area, has extended further out in the macula than Stargardt's normally does. So I guess that leads him to think that maybe it's not Stargardt's. And he recommended that I get some further testing. So I actually did do a genetic test last year. I made a video about that when I got the results. and found out that that they actually did not test the gene that causes Stargardts. And I was like, really? Come on, guys. Maybe you should have told me that before I went through the trouble of taking this test. It could have saved everybody a bunch of time and effort. But I have also recently taken another test. This one I did have to pay for. But this one, they said, is a full panel testing everything and definitely testing the gene that causes Stargardts. So I am still waiting for the results of that. Hopefully in the next month or so I should get those results. Of course, I will do a follow-up video at that point, and maybe finally find out definite whether or not I have Stargardts. It's kind of crazy. You know, when the doctor said that, I was a little taken back. My mind was blown because I've always had Stargardts. I mean, that's been my identity since age 11. That's what made me different and unique. That's what made me a special little snowflake, is my Stargardts. And to think about not having that, that's crazy. I would hate that. I love having Stargardts. I love being a Stargardian. And so, yeah, that would suck if it came back that I didn't indeed have it. So that is it, guys. That is my vision history, my vision story in a nutshell. I would love to hear about yours. If other VIP YouTubers out there want to make a video talking about your vision story, I would love to see that. Maybe I will title this one #VisionStory, and then you guys can do that as well, and that would make it easy for everybody to search for them. So make your video, #VisionStory. Let us know about yours. But that is it for me, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button and share it on social media. Sharing, liking, commenting, all of that really helps out the channel, and I always appreciate it. And speaking of commenting, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to help out. Thank you guys again. Sam with The Blind Life. We will see you next time.